Masque is absolutely a very strong character. However, she's somewhat vulnerable to getting sniped by certain things. Today we're going to see whether or not Skarbrand can finish off the Masque. He is, of course, taking Tzeentch with Dechala once more, and Cultist of Tzeentch for his Spellcaster. So we've seen a replay of this from before. Now here's something similar, but with Lore of Fire this time, with that Cultist already unleashing some Fireballs. We've got an Exalted Flamer here as well. Some Marauders of Tzeentch up front. One unit of Exalted Pink Horrors, very interesting. And some Chaos Halberd of Tzeentch Warriors. Yes. Followers of the Grey Eagle Marauder Chariot, that's pretty good actually. Has armor piercing damage and Warp Flame on contact as well. And then Ace on the Fallen, the Mutilith Vortex Beast. As for Slaanesh, we already saw the Masque there, a single unit of Devotees. Chaos Sorcerer, Lord of Slaanesh. We've got some champions as well. Some Hellstriders of Slaanesh and Slangors out on the flank. The Devoted Marauders up front. Immediately that Flamer is going to make its presence felt as it unleashes Demon Fire all over these Devoted Cultists. No doubt testing their devotion. But right now, Skarbrand playing as Tzeentch. We've got Kaiju here playing as Slaanesh. Ooh, yeah. Here comes Dechala charging in. Masque just kind of bypasses, though. Skates on by and is now going to try and pressure the Exalted Flamer a little bit here, but Dechala is a much better combatant than the Masque, and the Masque counting as infantry means T'Challa's anti-infantry bonus will apply. Currently using that Dance of Destruction for extra weapon strength, and Aeson also jumps in there, but of course the Devotees with their crossbows are lurking. Right now, seem to be still targeted on the Flamer there. We get a nice Pit of Shades in the front line as well. Is going to do some pretty good damage. We see a responding Burning Heads. Both players just putting in some AoE damage, even though it's just a low-tier infantry fight. Skarbrand is going to do the pro maneuver of accidentally transforming Changeling back into Changeling here, which is not ideal at all. Changeling's combat stats are terrible, so going to put him at a little bit of a disadvantage here as Changeling takes a few massive hits from the Masque and is forced to retreat there, but thankfully he's got these Exalted Pinks somewhat safe. He's got some Halberds to protect against the champions there as they rush in very quickly. They're going to make contact with the Pinks there, but probably won't do too much damage. Aeson also is taking a good amount of damage there, as are those Marauder Chariots. Maybe left in combat a little bit too long, but we're somewhat able to screen the Changeling. Right now, the Chaos Halberds just kind of sitting right on top of the Exalted Flamer and the Cultists, protecting them from any Horseman shenanigans, but some more Slangors moving in here. They were in a little bit of tactical reserve maybe, but that's okay. They're going to run in and get on those Chaos Halberds? Maybe, and it looks like they got interrupted on the Chariots there. But Aeson getting pretty well hit here. Dechala transforms back from the Changeling. And now we're going to see these two lords duel once more, kind of playing a little bit of cat and mouse, trying to see who can get the better engagement. But Dechala actually takes a few hits there from the Masque. Masque also going to use the Staff of Masques. I'm not really sure what the damage was on. I don't see exactly, but at least giving herself a little bit of self-healing. Champions also come back from rout. Devotees have just about used up all their ammunition. Aeson's not quite down yet, so we're going to get some Hellstriders moving in the back line. Have been chasing some routing units. Get a nice little rear charge here into the Exalted Pinks. And get some damage on Aeson as well with their anti-large bonus. The Halberds are going to be pretty tough to defeat at this point, but Dechala being routed and even killed. The Changeling goes down to the Masque, and the champions of Slaanesh here now going to move into combat against the Spears. But Exalted Flamer's still up, still firing, as is the Cultist as well. Has plenty of fireballs left in the tank. Where's he at? Somewhere in here. Anyway, yeah, but the Halberds hanging in for now. The Exalted Pinks also haven't used up a lot of their ammunition, but are going to be charged once again by Hellstriders. A little bit of Shades as well on the Halberds there, although it is going to catch some of the Hellstriders. So a little bit of friendly fire on that, but can't be avoided too much at this point. Oh, there's the Cultist, who's mixed in with this melee engagement here. It's taking some damage, but continue to unleash fireballs specifically on the Masque. And the Masque is out of charges of the Masque, so no more self-healing there. Oh, just kidding. One more use. Okay, so potentially can heal a little bit more and deal some direct damage to something. But the Cheson of changing... Chanson of changing? Yes, caging. Not changing. That would be very Tzeentchian, and it is a Slaanesh character, of course, but Masque moves in to target the Exalted Flamer. Gonna get some pretty good damage. Exalted Flamer actually, I think, is slower than the Masque, so yeah, pretty significantly. Gonna have a hard time getting away from this, except that the Masque is so low on health. Aeson charges in once more. Yeah, that disorientated contact effect coming in from... I don't know what exactly, but that's okay. It's going to reduce her stats just a little bit. The Shadow Sorcerer moves in as well to try and help out in melee, but another really well-placed fireball from the Cultist here. And Exalted Flamer is disintegrating, but Masque is also teetering on the edge of routing here. Or just disintegrating as well, because the Masque is demonic. Aeson continuing to fight, also doing whatever it can to kind of drain the remaining units here. Has only about 1800 HP left, so still somewhat vulnerable to just getting surrounded and killed in melee here. Cultist wisely remaining at a distance. Going to be firing off another fireball here. And will it hit? Yes, good contact. Actual double contact there. Very lucky to get both the Masque and the Sorcerer. And then the Masque goes down. The big attack from Aeson. That is going to be a pretty bad leadership hit to all these units. I'd imagine we're going to see most things, yep, just quickly tear route here. And now just the Chaos Sorcerer is all that's left. Yeah, this sort of disorientated contact effect. Is that from... Here we go. Tides of Transformation. Kind of hits little units in an AoE there. Yeah, the Aura of Mutation is the direct damage aura, so this is something a little bit different. But 0% AP direct damage, very interesting. Every few seconds while it's in melee. I say few seconds, like 30 seconds or whatever it was. But anyway, more fireballs going to be unleashed here. The Cultist having a horse, giving him a mobility advantage over the Slaanesh Sorcerer is going to be pretty critical in this late game. There are still a few Slangors chasing down and finishing off those Tzeentch halberds. But the brave Slaanesh Sorcerer charges in. 2v1 single entity fight. Cultist has, he has some stats. He's not the greatest combatant, but he has some stats, so he's going to try for some support here. Aeson goes in for another couple big attacks. Almost down below 1000 HP, though, and the leadership is definitely teetering for both sides. But will the terror kick in? Point blank fireball straight to the face is enough to rout the Sorcerer, and that will be army losses. Yep, there it is, victory. Barely for Tzeentch. Ended up being extremely close there, but very fun one for sure. Nice to see these two factions, demonic chaos factions, clash. And yeah, the fireball meta, very, very real. I mean, Dechala was ultimately distraction and ends up almost getting killed while in changeling form, but yeah, that fireball... Cultist of Tzeentch. Honestly, the Cultist, I feel, is somewhat underrated. I'll say that pretty much every time I see him featured in a replay, because Lord Fire is just so good. The fact that Tzeentch has access to it, sometimes I feel like gets forgotten, because there's a lot of good Lord-level casters and other hero-level casters, so definitely consider Fire, though, in some matchups. Aeson also gets some insane value, as does the Exalted Flamer, so nice to see there. The rest of the army kind of is okay. One's Tzeentch halberd pretty much pays for themselves, but other than that, everything is more just supporting. Here, the Masque also gets some really nice value. I honestly expected a little bit more from the Chaos Sorcerer, given the Pits of Shades and whatnot, but I guess didn't end up actually getting that much value. The Devotees, on the other hand, did get quite a bit of value, and yeah, they seem to be consistently a pretty good unit for Slaanesh, as long as they're not too heavily targeted by certain things. But some physical and missile resistance helps them resist some types of damage. Anyway. Yeah, overall, very fun replay. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.